In this episode of As Per My Last Podcast,
Drinking is a big part of life.
You just want nights of drinking.
I treat every one of these as if I drink all the time.
El Presidente, and then Natty or PBR or Narragansett.
I got old school Budweiser.
I'm a Miller guy.
I never had a problem with Miller.
Because I do love me a PBR.
I came here for Guinness anyway.
I just drink Coors.
The title belongs to Yingling.
I was going to taste this and it was going to fucking blow my mind.
This is a nice bar. So
As Per My Last Podcast with your host, Greg and Eric.
before we kind of dive into this, I know there was a topic we were talking about because we just had to do like a anti-harassment training, and we were talking about like what do these people do? Like, what's their job, right? Like, are they out there in the world of movies and television shows and all that? And there was one
The
guy.
actors in the training.
Oh, the actors in training, yeah, which are, novice at best. And I was dying laughing because they had one guy, there was this crystalflush.com, and I'm not using them as promo in any way because they had to do with some kind of like dirty toenail fungus or some shit. And the guy that they had there, he had this headset on, he's talking, and I was like, that sounds familiar. I'm watching college football and this goes off. And I'm like, oh shit, that guy was in the anti-harassment video. It's like, this guy went from anti-harassment to anti-toenail fungus. I was like, this guy is on the up and up. And he's not young stud either. He's like probably well in his 50s. So God bless him.
Well, that's the funny thing. I mean, honestly, in a way, I almost find those to be like more exciting celebrities. Like if I saw him at a coffee shop, I'd be like, oh, shit.
I know you. You look so familiar. We used to work there. Like,
get out of the way, Taylor Swift. I want to talk to this guy.
Watch out. This guy was anti-harassment.
Oh,
He made me sit through an hour of torture. It's like needle.
I've been staring at that guy's stupid face, listening to him try not to have an accent, but he clearly has an accent for like 3 hours.
Oh, so good. So good. So going on the world of work. It's the latest and greatest.
Well, one interesting thing that came up since we've last spoke was when the Fed and then ultimately this guy, Paul Davison from UBS, said the same thing. They were talking about undergrads having a hard time getting jobs. And they were like, everybody thinks that it's AI, but when you look at the data, turns out other countries are not having this issue. Countries that are very much using AI, like Japan, crushing it with undergrads. Europe, same kind of deal. All use AI. So he's like, I mean, maybe AI will eventually replace those undergraduate, jobs, but that ain't happening yet.
That's interesting because Japan, obviously, I think we've talked about this, how it's culturally, they love to work. At least that's kind of what I get from it.
Oh, yeah. They're known for that.
Yeah. There's probably very few lazy, like when they discuss fat, lazy Americans, like, oh, these kids just sit around and play video games. I'm sure that they're that's not how you describe probably any school age Japanese kid. But
no, I don't think they're fat, lazy Japanese people, period.
Well, no, they're fat, but they're usually doing some sumo. So therefore they're not lazy.
Right. So. They're still diligent.
What do you think the reason for that is? I mean, is it culturally? Is it just how we position things here in America? Like the way that obviously it's all about the bottom line and the almighty dollar here with the state of the economy in the US, but it's just strange to me. And also, should I go get a job in Japan? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well, I think there's a double-edged sword, double-edged katana there. Hey, on the one hand, they might be hiring undergrads, but at the same time, I mean, to your point, they are known for working like 1 million hours. So it's not like it's wonderful work-life balance. But I would say that I think generally speaking, I think they're in their culture of work. Work is related to this sense of duty and like honor, and at least as much as it is to the let's earn money. Whereas here, it's definitely money first. And then, oh yeah, if you get duty and honor, cool, whatever. But if not, like who cares if you're rich? And I think that part of that, when you're looking at it from a CEO's perspective, and you can use something like AI as an excuse, especially frankly, if most of these undergrad jobs are total bullshit. But like if in Japan or in Europe or one of these things, they're like, well, I got to mentor somebody to eventually take my role. So I'll hire them to do stuff I don't really need someone to do. And even if it costs me a little money, at least I'm getting somebody in here and I'm helping my, whatever, nephew or my, somebody from the local community. And, I'm helping to grow somebody else and all these other wonderful things that don't necessarily make money that we don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, I guess that's a big part of it. I guess that they do find where there's a will, there's a way. They'll find opportunity, even though it's not necessarily needed. So, you always have to have a warm body in some way, shape, or form. And they're probably paid shit, to be honest with you. They're probably paid.
I'm sure.
But I think maybe that's the point that you're trying to make is here in America, it's like you're a graduate and you're like, I should be making like $300,000 with no experience, like easily. Like there's not non-starter. You cannot get me to work for $20 an hour. That's what people make at McDonald's. And in fact, like having a job is just important to have. And, you'll eventually get there. But it's, I guess everybody here just looks for the express path and it doesn't always work that way. We don't all live in the fast lane.
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. I think that we expect more stuff. And I mean, part of it is because we need more stuff. I mean, people come out of college here with loans through the frickin' roof, That's not necessarily true there or in Europe or any of these places with subsidized post-secondary education. So, you can take a job at McDonald's or the McDonald's of engineering, to get your foot in the door because you can afford to do that. You're not paying $7,000-8,000 a month, or $700-800 or $1,000 a month, in student loans. But I mean, further, I just think that there's a culture here where we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck about them. And if we don't see that undergrads are going to give us value in a way, like they're just going to be a burden. And I play into this too, where it's like, oh, these younger generations are a pain in the ass, like I don't want to deal with them anyway. I don't want to have to mentor people and take away from my people. Like, why even bother? What's the value?
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I mean, I feel like Japan and Europe are two drastically different places,
right,
culturally and economically. So why does it work in Europe then? I mean, Japan, I can understand for the honor of just having a job and working and seeing that through. And even if it's low wages, like just getting an entry level. But what about Europe itself? You always hear like the standard, like, oh, the French only work 4 days a week and everybody's off in August. And do they actually care about working or whatever? But what do you think goes on there?
I think it's a different brand of the same thing, which is that the fishmonger wants his kid to be a fishmonger. And the guy that loves cheese and is a cheesemonger wants his kid to be a cheesemonger. So he gets him in there if that's what he wants, because he wants to extend that legacy and that love and passion that they have for the thing that they're doing for work. It's not just a means to get money. It is a thing that they love. And fuck if I know anyone that loves what they do here.
I've never met anybody. I've met people that tolerate their jobs, some more so than others, but I've never really met somebody that really loves what they do. Maybe a professional athlete, but I don't even know if they love what they do. They're probably just like, yeah, I could hit a baseball, but I don't love it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like we take the things that people love and we crush them to death under the weight of trying to be as profitable as possible. Anyway,
yeah.
I mean, it's hard because I get the profit motive. I mean, that's how we're set up. But at the same time, something's got to give here. Like, what are we going to do with all these 20-somethings as they become 30-somethings and they're still living in mom's basement? And eventually they'll just get mom's house and then not be able to pay property taxes. And, like, where does it end?
What do you mean I got to pay for stuff? I thought that just happened,
Right.
Yeah, that's the gift that keeps on giving. Even if you pay off your house, you still have the benefit of having to pay the taxes on it. There's always that discussion, like, is it ever really yours, right? I went to Boston last weekend or whatever, and I stayed at the Revere Hotel, and this is my plug for how much I fucking hate that hotel. And they were kind enough to charge me for 2 rooms, and then also charge my friend for staying in one of the rooms. So like they double dip. They banged me $2,500 for 2 rooms, and then also hit my friend up for another $1,200. I'm like, the fuck here.
Damn.
And then trying to get in touch with somebody, I call this number and it's like, hey, this is AI virtual assistant. And I'm like, if you're an AI virtual assistant, you're not real. Like, why do you have an Indian voice? Like, why wouldn't you just go with a normal, like, fucking American accent? Like, why the fuck did you have to make it sound like I'm calling a call center if it's not even real? I was fucking shit. It's been a whole.
You're gonna make it up. Why not make it up perfect?
Exactly. I mean, AI, I was like, they're like, oh, we want to give them the authentic fucking call center experience. The fuck is this? And the worst part is I could barely understand what they were saying. I was like, you're AI, you're artificial. What the fuck is going on right now?
Oh my God. At the end, did they say, thank you?
Thank you. No. Oh God. I would have fucking lost it. Probably would have laughed, actually. It was rough. Yeah, I don't know. Lately, I've just been getting beat over the head with all this stupid, like, everyday shit. But anyway, sorry.
Is that like the Matrix where they're like...
Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world where none suffered, where everyone would be happy? It was a disaster. No one would accept the program. And I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering.
That is the Matrix. Oh my God. So it's almost October at this point, which is crazy because I think it was 80 fucking 9 degrees this weekend and I got sunburnt, which I don't know how that's possible in New York. But everybody's all going about, and you get the whole like fall aspect of things, but my kids are like, "Oh, can we put up Halloween decorations?" It's like, "Not if it's 85 degrees out. No way." I was like
Right.
unless you want to take
Rejected.
a grave and making it real in the front yard, like no way, I'm not putting out
Right.
there. But it's funny because I was starting to think about the whole like pumpkin aspect of things, like this is where pumpkin lattes and everything
Oh
comes
yeah.
from. And I was like, where did the pumpkin phenomenon come from? Like, who started that, right? I looked it up. 2003. Our good friends do you want to guess who created it and started this whole pumpkin movement in the fall?
Like the pumpkin spice latte, it's got to be Starbucks.
Starbucks, the Kings, they started it. That was the jumping off point, was Starbucks creating in 2003 the pumpkin spice latte because the CEO wanted to create a flavor that captured fall. And boom, everybody's fucking jumped on it. And for the last 30 years, ish, we're in this pumpkin movement. Have you ever eaten a pumpkin? It tastes like nothing.
So I had a time in my life where I would live with someone that when we would do the carving, they would take the seeds out of the middle, right? And then as well as all the guts, and then we would roast the pumpkin seeds. And those were actually pretty good.
The seeds aren't bad. Yeah, you put a little salt on that, they're great.
Yeah.
Actual pumpkin itself has like no flavor really at all. It's just the spice that everybody has, a nutmeg and all that other cinnamon and all that. That's what you like. Pumpkin itself. Like if you got a pumpkin latte, you'd be like, it tastes like a fucking ice cube. What is this? All I taste is the whipped cream and ice cubes.
Right. Which is perfect, actually. I'll take another one.
Locale? Yeah, great.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so we got the fall coming at us hard, right? Yeah, it's weird because I feel like I should be wearing flannel and I'm still wearing t-shirt and shorts, which I'm not complaining about.
I want that. I feel I am. I want the flannel. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Cold again.
What do you guys call it up in Boston? Sweater weather? Sweater weather?
Sweater weather. Yes. It's my fave.
Sweater weather. Yeah, I see. It's weird because I know, like in my head, I love fall because you get football going. You could have some like fires in the backyard. Leaves start changing. Like it's just good, right? There's no humidity. All these stupid mosquitoes die off and whatever. But in the same, good old Mr. Winter isn't too far off. The fucking or whatever is hanging out, and I know it's a small little window that we get to enjoy that before the winter comes around. So I'm trying to soak in and enjoy this heat a little bit, but I think mentally my body's like, whoa, what is this heat still hanging out for? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, over the weekend I had an event I was going to where I had to be outside for like 4 or 5 hours, and I was looking at the weather being like, oh sweet, I bet it's going to be like 60 and like nice and breezy, it'll be comfortable. No, it was like 82, but I was in like an open field. So 82 when it's just like the open field, no shade, no wind. I mean, I felt like I was sitting on the surface of the sun. I was just sizzling in a frying pan.
Oh, I know the experience. I was at a soccer field because my son had a game, and I went
to see my nephew play soccer on Saturday. Yep.
Yeah, you're sitting there and you're just like, nope, no trees. And I could just feel my skin like, if you stay out here for another 15 minutes. I got home, my neck's killing me. My wife is like, oh, it's because you have like severe sunburn on your neck. That's why. I was like, yeah, well, I wasn't thinking I needed sunscreen on fucking September 27th. So didn't really think about that.
So yeah, I'm ready for the fall in that way.
Yeah, I embrace it fully. Like I'm all in. I just feel like the fall is too short before the winter comes around. Like I love crisp air. You wake up, it's nice and chilly. You can put a hoodie on. You get a little like the flannel action going on. I'm a fan of shorts, to be honest with you. But I could have a little fire pit in the backyard. That's what I want. Maybe a couple of pumpkin beers. You're familiar with the shipyards. Those are always solid.
Oh yeah, they're from Maine. Yeah. I lived in Maine.
Have you ever been to the Shipyard Brewery up there in Portland?
I was feeling like you were going to ask me that, and I couldn't remember. I've been to a couple of the breweries in Portland, but I don't think I made it to Shipyard now.
Yeah, Shipyard was okay. It actually was underwhelming. It was like very small, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I got the beer, and I was like, it actually tastes better in the bottle. I was surprised that I got it fresh from the tap,
Weird.
but I always laugh because this time of year is when the sugar rims come about. You know, you have the pumpkin beer and then you get the sugar rims. And it's funny because you go to like some of these festivals, like fall festivals or whatever it is, and the yellow jackets are relentless.
Oh yeah.
They are relentless. I had it one time. We had this little fair in the town, and I'm like, all these people are going to sip their beer, and like these yellow jackets are just covering their glasses. I'm just like, that is not enjoyable whatsoever. And they're just so nasty.
Oh, that's funny. You know, where I was kind of laughing with somebody the other day because where I live now is further away from a city that I've lived in quite a while. And they have all these festivals where, you know, when I've lived close to Boston or to New York, there's this expectation that these festivals, when you do these sort of ethnic festivals, that they're more authentic, you know?
Yeah.
So like my town had an Irish festival like 2 weekends ago. Then they had a German festival last weekend. And I was joking, my girlfriend, I was like, oh, the Irish festival, watch, they're going to have pizza. It's like the biggest thing they were showing is their like food truck rodeo. It was like pizza and like, I think it was like lobster rolls. I'm like, okay, so what these are really telling me is that you just want themed nights of drinking outside, which I can get behind. That's fine. It's just, you know, if I'm expecting like actual Irish shit, like, you know, corned beef, and then the next weekend, like bratwursts and hefeweizens, you know, I got nothing coming.
Oh my God, that's so funny. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a Japanese festival. It's like, oh, no sushi in sight and no sake. It's a brick oven pizza.
We put wasabi on it. Yeah.
What? Like, oh my God, that's. I mean, yeah. The kudos to them recognizing that drinking is a big part of life, right? But
yeah, it's fun. It's fun in its own way, for sure.
yeah. And going with the nationalities that have the heaviest drinking, shout out to them, right?
They were like, who drinks the most beer? Let's celebrate them weekend after weekend.
Yeah. Whereas they just have an American fest and it's just a bunch of like fucking drunkards.
Honest to God. I mean, they probably do have a July 4th or something. Now that you say that.
Oh, yeah, good point. Good point. I guess July 4th would be American Fest. So yeah.
By another name.
Funny. I had to go to this football fundraiser on Friday and they did it at like a local like Hibernian hall. It's actually really nice. You know, like they have a little catering area, but then, you know, behind the scenes is where like all the club members go. And I'm like, this is a nice bar. So we're there and I treat every one of these open bar events as if I drink liquor all the time. So I'm always like drinking it like I'm having a beer. I'm like, yeah, I'll take vodka soda, a splash of cranberry. That's fine. 12 later. And I'm like, I think I'm going to float home. But it's always funny because like there's one guy there and I'm like, oh, what are you drinking? And he's like, I got old school Budweiser. I'm like, is it any good or does it taste just like I expect?
Bud heavy.
Yeah, I was like the Bud Diesel's like, does it hurt your teeth and they have a headache a little bit? He goes, well, it's as good as you're thinking. He goes, it's nice and warm. I was like, oh God, it's disgusting. Like, what's going on? Yeah, I don't know if the taps are cool enough yet. And I was like, oh, hot Bud heavy. Oh my
dude. Okay, so isn't that a generational thing? Like, I know that my parents' generation and I feel like Gen X are of the variety where you grew up might be going too far back, but from when you're young, you choose one of the three American beers and you just drink that. Like, I had uncles that were like, I'm a Miller guy, and they would just drink MGD or Miller Lite. Or like, I'm a Coors Light guy. I just drink Coors, you know, Banquet or Coors Light, whatever, or a Bud, you know, and then like, that's it. I don't know anyone younger than like 50 that drinks non-light of any of those. You know? Yeah,
I mean, that's actually a good point. That's pretty much what it was. It was like, hey, these are the three heavy hitters. Pick one, and that's what you're going to have the rest of your life. Like, I always went a little more towards the Bud Light, I guess, because, you know, it was a flavorful version of water, I guess. But
right.
I never really liked Coors Light. Coors Light, for some reason, just always tasted funny to me, but some people swear by it. Like, you know, a silver bullet. They love that. And they were always so gimmicky. Remember, it's like, oh, you could tell when it's cold because the mountains on the can turn blue. I'm like, or hear me out. It's been in the refrigerator for fucking 3 days. It's probably pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. Or touch it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Miller, I felt like
for me though, I loved, so for my family and me, like when I was trying them, I liked Miller was my favorite, Miller Lite at least. You know, Bud Heavy if I was going to drink one of the heavies, but I don't, you know, I drank light beers. But when an odd quirk though, I never liked Bud Light. It kind of always made me nauseous. But you know what I love? And I know we've talked about this before, Busch Light.
The same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of Busch.
Made by the same people, but for whatever reason, I like it way more than Bud Light.
That's interesting because it's very what's the flavor? It's like very canny. It's got a real good aluminum flavor to it. So
Poison. Yeah.
yeah, could really taste the lead.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah, it's quality. But yeah, that's interesting. I never had a problem with Miller because we had a Miller's Ale House like popped up as I was going into college, and it was always like their special was like $2 for a Miller Lite. I'm like, all right, well, that's my new favorite beer now. PBR was always like kind of one of those like
Oh yeah. I
ones, but
loved PBR.
I never disliked PBR. I always thought it was like a quality one.
So then there's the shitty beer tier, right? So I feel like our generation, when we were in college, everybody had their like shitty beer that they liked.
Yeah, it was based on region,
Right.
Midwest.
So I liked PBR. I liked Narragansett when I could get access to it. But what I hated was Schlitz. For whatever reason, me and Schlitz didn't get along. I could drink Steel Reserves and like King Cobra malt liquor and it would be fine. But Schlitz, could not do it. I felt like I was drinking liquid rubber. It was horrible.
Is Schlitz the old? Is that the one that touts itself as the oldest beer in America? Is that Schlitz?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. It might be.
Let's ask our friend Google.
I was just going to say. Back to Google. Tell me the answer.
Schlitz is not the oldest beer in America. The title belongs to Yingling.
Ah.
1849. Schlitz was founded in 1849. It's a brand. Oh, PBR actually owns Schlitz now.
Oh, well, maybe I'd like it better now. Because I do love me a PBR. I'll be honest.
Yingling was always like when I was in college, they were very strict because it was like the Bible Belt for the most part down south. And like they were very strict about what beers they could actually sell. So everybody kind of gravitated to Busch because the whole gimmick was you can't spell USC without Busch, University of South Carolina. I'm like, all right, however you want to look at it. I was like, personally, the cheapo in me is more like I like 30 beers for $10. That's that's kind of the way I look at things. I used to have this because we had the little shuttle around campus and he would have a late class and he would stop at the beer distributor, hop on one of these little shuttles and come back and he would just like ride to the bus with like fucking 230 racks. Like you're like living the dream, man.
For us, what's funny is that I don't know why everyone was so obsessed with this, but so in Massachusetts, as soon as you get over the border to New Hampshire knows that everybody goes there because there's no sales tax. So there are these giant liquor outlets right off the highway, like right after you get over the border. So like a lot of people would send their friends up, with a pickup truck and they would come back with like fucking, 20, 30 racks or whatever. Because it was like that $5 cheaper or whatever it might be, when you could get all those beers. So
it's like, I'm going to spend $10 in gas, but I'm saving $5 in sales tax.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. It's that weird like discount math that you think it's worth it.
That's funny because like that's the equivalent of like going either like down south or like Pennsylvania where fireworks are legal. And the minute you get over the border, it's like come over here and blow things up. Like you're not
hopefully
American,
not your hands. Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. It's funny. I went up there one time. People were talking about. You ever have a beer ball? Like that was a big like Massachusetts.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is a beer ball? So we went there one time. It's like just kind of like a small little keg. It's not like a pony keg. It was literally a ball of beer. And I was like, all right, well, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, that was one of those that I didn't really like. To your point, it was around for sure. I didn't really understand the appeal, but a lot of people did use them.
Yeah, so like a lot of these states are strange with just drinking in general. Like, yeah, okay, Massachusetts they had the beer ball, which was like unless you knew about it, you weren't really going and getting it. And then you have like Pennsylvania where you could only buy it in designated beer facilities, and then also you could only have X amount of ounces. So you pretty much can buy a 12-pack, but if you want 24, you got to go put that out in your car and then come back and get another 12-pack, which I don't understand how that works.
Well, but Pennsylvania, you can buy it from the restaurant, which I love.
What? Really?
Yeah. So in Pennsylvania, a really weird quirk is that if you go to a restaurant that has a bar, they can sell you like a 6-pack or something. You can take it home.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
they must
cool.
be authorized to do that because I got a buddy that lives out there and he has to go to like a beer, like he can't go to a gas station. He can't go to like even the supermarket is limited on how much you could actually pick up at any given point in time. It's so annoying. And they're like, oh, you could only have X amount of ounces. And I forget what it is. But then you go out there and you look and you're like, they have a 15-pack? What the hell is a 15-pack?
Yeah, there's a lot of that weird shit. Yeah. I mean, Massachusetts has a lot of these they call them blue laws. So when I was going to college, they hadn't changed some of these yet. Yeah. So at that time, you couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays.
Yep.
Like anywhere. And the only places you could buy alcohol in general, and this is pretty much still true, is in a liquor store or a package store, which they refer to as a packy. But so like beer and wine and all the stuff that in most other states you can buy at like the grocery store or whatever, or at least beer. No, you have to go to a separate liquor store to be able to buy any form of alcohol. Thank you, Puritans.
Yeah, I didn't know that you guys had blue laws like that, because I was introduced to blue laws going to school in South Carolina, and that was like you could only buy essentials on Sundays. And it was actually funny because I had my cousin come to visit, and he's like, "Oh, where can I sleep?" I was like, "I don't know, just get an inflatable mattress and return it to Walmart." Like who would they do otherwise,
Classic.
right? Yeah, so he goes to return it on a Sunday, and they're like, "Sorry, like you could buy an apple, but we can't take returns back." He's like, "This is
the Lord's Day."
So I held on to an air mattress for a while.
The Lord needs receipts, okay?
The Lord giveth, but he does not taketh back.
Not on Sundays.
Yeah, he needs that day of rest and recuperation. He did create the world.
Exactly. He's watching the NFL like the rest of us.
Yeah. He actually reports to Goodell. It's not the other way around.
Right. God, Goodell,
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Well, and then Yingling. So that was a big thing for us, right, in Massachusetts, is when Yingling finally was able to be sold up there. Because I had always heard when I was like in school and everybody used to talk about Yingling. Like I was going to taste this and it was going to fucking blow my mind. And then when I first had Yingling, I was like, this is a shit. No, I was like, this is a shitty Newcastle. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. It's sort of good, I guess. But
fine.
I think it was all because it had higher alcohol content, right? Like it was like 5% as opposed to 4% or whatever it is. So that was restricted in a lot of places, I guess. I don't know,
man. Didn't do it for me. Actually, it made me sick. It's weird how like some alcohol, some beers, I don't know if it's sulfites or what, but like they'll make me sick to my stomach more than other ones.
Yeah, that's natural light or natural ice or any of the natural.
Oh my God.
Makes
that
me
are the least natural.
Makes me so sick. Like that was a big, like visiting my buddies at like Penn State, like everything was natty this, natty that. And I dreaded it. I was like, listen, I'm not making a whole lot of money, but I gotta eat, I gotta drink some quality. I need at least a Bud Light or something. And it was hard to stomach. It always gave me a massive migraine. I don't know what's in it that causes it, but oh my Lord, it was the worst. The worst.
In any brand that offers a version that has an ice at the end of it, like Natty Ice, Bush Ice. I was introduced to that in the South, where it's like the same shitty beer, but like 9% alcohol or some stupid shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I used to see all these people go into the convenience stores or the grocery stores and they would buy one Natty Ice, like tall boy. And I'm like, why would you just buy one tall boy? And then when I realized that it was like 10% alcohol and this person probably has only been living off alcohol because they weighed like 85 pounds. I was like, oh, you're probably wasted.
It's keeping this constant buzz for the last 30 years. It's funny. There was, speaking of, drinking and all that, I saw it was like I don't know how old it was, but it popped up and it was like a meme or whatever for Shark Tank. And it was these guys that created a beer for guys that didn't want to, they're like, oh, with the craft brews and all this stuff, you have one beer and you could get really smashed, so like this is a low percentage alcohol, so you could still have a good time and just keep a buzz and not have to worry. I forget the name of it. I have to look it up or we can insert it after, but there was a 2.9% beer and I think it was called like Dad Beer or something like that. And they're like, and the best part is it's only 92 calories, so it keeps it low and you could only have a couple. I'm like, yeah, I guess if you're trying to undercut the Michelob Ultra market, I don't know, like
yeah, I mean, if you're that concerned about it, there's an O'Doul's or there's a Diet Coke. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of alternatives. Yeah.
Water has 0 calories. In fact,
this whole water thing that like it's 80% of you.
Nice,
man. I didn't expect us to go off on a beer tangent. To be honest with you, that was.
I don't dislike it though.
Yeah, that was fun. That was actually, we're talking about all that stuff, and it started making me think about all the gimmicky shit that would pop up. And my dad was always like a Budweiser, like regular old red, white, blue can, and then they started coming out with, remember when everything started becoming like red? It was like red wolf, red dog. And I was just like,
yeah.
red. And then they started doing like Bud Dry, which I never really understood what the hell that was, but that was something. Yeah, the ice thing. When I went down to, I forget where I was in like Grand Cayman or something. And I'm like, all right, I'm on a limited budget. I'm here, like, it's like I'm a senior in college, don't have a lot of money. I was like, what's the cheapest beer that you guys have? And they're like, Bud Ice. I was like, I'll take it. And I was like, I've never seen one of these before. I don't think they sell them in the States anymore. And the bottle still, it looked like they gave it the little ice look to it.
Yeah.
Gimmicky child shit I've ever seen in my life. What the hell?
And that like 1980s lasers look, like it's probably been the same marketing like since then.
The 80s are here to stay. I don't care what they say.
Yeah. The only people still drinking this have been drinking it since 1980s. So
yeah, they don't even know what decade it is. They haven't left the bar.
exactly. Oh man, it's funny. When I was younger, I mean, talking about like different deals and things you're trying to find, there was this one liquor store when I lived in Salem, Massachusetts, where they would have a different like shitty beer. A lot of these fancy liquor stores now will have fancy people come in and do tastings and all this. This liquor store had all the shitty beer brands. So one week it would be like El Presidente, and then the next week it would be like, Natty or PBR or Narragansett. And a lot of them gave away t-shirts. So I ended up with this, like, I must have looked like the biggest alcoholic in the world because half of my wardrobe was just free beer t-shirts.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I would be all in for just the free t-shirt. I'd be like, hell yeah, add it to my wardrobe.
That's what I'm saying,
I'm all in.
I'm a sucker for a free t-shirt. Not going to lie.
Yeah. Free t-shirt, shitty beer. Can't go wrong.
Price is right on both.
That's how they get you. I went in one time to a distributor. It was like St. Patty's Day, and I'm like, I pop in, and they're like, oh, if you get a 12-pack of Guinness, you get a free t-shirt. I was like, yeah, I came here for Guinness anyway. Yeah, give me the shirt. And I'm like, shirt's great. I was like, I had a little like Shamrock on it, a little Guinness pint. I was like,
yeah,
you can't beat this. I was like, and it fits great.
Oh, it's so funny. And I would get a bunch of these little toys and stuff, and then I would end up seeing like little nieces and nephews, and I'd always give them away. And I'm sure afterwards they would tell their parents and be like, why are you playing with the little like Bud Light truck? Like, you're 4 years old. Who gave this to you?
Yeah, it's like, where did you get that? They don't sell that at the supermarket. Like,
I didn't give that to you.
Here, I know you'll love this. It's a bottle opener.
Exactly.
The life of a party. Here, just anybody needs a bottle opener. There you go.
As per my last podcast with your host, Greg and Eric, I must have looked like the biggest alcoholic in the world.
All right, however we want to look at it.